With our children and grandchildren spending huge amounts of time online, we parents and grandparents are being forced to become proactive and both protect them and educate them. Joining us now is a woman who can help us all to do that. Her name is Melanie Rhora. She is a cybersecurity expert and the founder of CyberSmart. Welcome, Melanie.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Tell us about your company and why you decided to found it.
Well, I have been working in technology for 20 plus years, and we've been doing tons of training corporately. But all employees have families, and I would get a ton of questions from moms, dads, and grandmas about how to keep their kids safe. And I realized that this was a niche that needed to be filled, and I had kids myself and wanted to keep them safe too.
Can you ever be completely prepared, or is this just a constantly changing world with hackers becoming more sophisticated, more phishing scams? I mean, I hear stories on the news all the time of new things. We're getting warnings about new things. How do you stay ahead of it?
So we teach people to be smart with their cybersecurity because you want to create a preventative thought system instead of just reacting to the things that are happening. So if you're safeguarding your information and you're modeling to your kids and even your parents what cybersecurity should be like, what being on the web should be like, and then knowing what to be aware of and monitoring your reputation and teaching your kids how to think critically when they're looking at things online means you want to teach them to be skeptical. And I know that doesn't sound like a great thing, but kids who ask questions are more likely to realize, hey, that's a scam. And you want to talk to your kids about scams and show them things that happen in your life. So if a phishing email comes through and somebody at work, actually clicked on it, because these things happen, bring it up at the dinner table, talk with your kids about it and say, what would you do? And just find out their answers. There are so many traps and scams for kids online, from false scholarships to get paid to play video games. We want to make sure that they're not falling for those.
So what are your key ground rules?
My key ground rules are safeguard your information. You can never safeguard your information enough. So never give out your SIN number online. And when it comes to our kids, they should never put out their full name, their address, their home phone number, or anything else that in combination could, identify them. So where they go to school or who their teachers are, because it's really easy for people to find you once you've got that information, and child identity theft is rampant.
Why would somebody want to steal a child's identity?
A child's identity is clean, so they don't have a credit history. And if you get your child a SIN number when they're a baby, there is no birth date associated with it in the credit record, in the credit bureaus yet. So someone who steals a child's identity can live for years. They can have a job, they can have credit cards, they can have a cell phone, they can get a car loan, they can get a driver's license. And they can do that for years, and then when they wreck that credit, they can move on.
Melanie, tell us what are the sort of the scams to watch out for, because I know that they change all the time. What are you seeing now? You said, for example, child identity never occurred to me, never even occurred to me, but you're an insider, you're an expert. What are the other things that we are watching out for?
Well, you want to watch out for malware, right? So be careful of what you're clicking on.
What's malware?
It's a software program that has malicious intent. So we're looking at viruses and Trojans and ransomware, and these things affect families as well as businesses.
What do they want to do to your computer?
Well, it depends on the type of malware. Most of them are looking to get information, and then they sell it to advertisers. So they want to know who you are and what your interests are so that they can take that information and sell it. Or they're looking for identity theft, right? So if you click on a phishing email and you enter in your credit card information, all of a sudden you could have credit card fraud happening, or you could have identity theft happening. So there's all different types of malware, and there's all different types of things that happen with that malware.
So there's malware, there's identity theft. What other things?
So you also want to be careful of our kids ruining their own reputation online before they actually need it. So when a child is 14, they're not thinking about which university they want to go to or their first job, right? They want to actually just play online and take pictures of them and their friends. But if they do something stupid at 15, it can affect them for the rest of their lives. So we have, there's stories of so many kids who have ruined their life by one photo, and then sextortion happens and revenge porn, and we don't want those things happening to our kids.
Are predators a big problem?
Predators are a huge problem. One thing that I can't warn parents about enough is your profile picture on social media. Don't put a profile picture up that's actually your kids, and especially if you've got a lovely picture of them at the beach in their bathing suits or something, because those pictures are public, and we have predators that just go through and they just save people's profile pictures, and they end up on dark websites.
So if you were teaching a family, if you were sitting down with a family, what would your key tips be, your top 5?
My top 5 would be to make sure your kids never meet anyone offline that they've only known online. And that doesn't matter if they've only known them for 5 minutes doing a Kijiji swap, or if they've talked to them for a year on Facebook or a gaming platform, because you don't know who you're actually dealing with. Another one of my top tips would be to be aware of which apps your kids are actually using on their phone. There is an app rating system, and we have a great one. It's a traffic light system. So it's green for apps that are good and the things that are expected for our kids to be on. Yellow are the ones we have to be careful of, and red ones are the ones we should never see a tween on. And most of them are anonymous. They're ripe with cyberbullying, and we just insist that parents be aware of them. And it's not always about restricting our kids. It's about talking with them. Communication is key.
Are there courses out there that families can go and take?
Well, we offer seminars, and we do them through organizations. So we've talked to a lot of foster families through different CAS organizations and school and parent associations and school boards. And we come in and we actually talk to parents and grandparents.
So you're an expert, and you know that this landscape changes like almost by the day. How can we stay one step ahead like you do?
Well, the best thing to do is just, like I said, monitor what you're doing. Make sure that you understand what our kids are doing. And we have a new resource for parents, which is really awesome. I have a book coming out. It's called Cyber Smart Parents, and it is 154 pages of resources for parents. It teaches them our SMART system, and it also gives you step-by-step instructions on how to safeguard on all of the different platforms. The book will be available on Amazon. It will be on my website, and it comes out on February 15th, and I'm very excited about it.
And your website is?
My website is cybersmart.ca.
Well, Melanie, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and educating us all on this really important topic, and a topic that is evolving all the time. This is What She Said on The Jewel. Stay with us. We'll be right back.